How's it going, guys? This is Bad Fast Marley and Left Turn Broadcasting. Been giving you some really fast setups, and I figured, well, if we're giving you these fast setups, you should at least see the settings that that I'm running on this wheel. I have a Logitech G29. I have wheel pedals on a rig as well with the shifter. I'll get into that in just a moment, but let's head in here and check out these wheel settings. We'll go ahead and hit R1 on the main menu there. That'll take you into here. You want to slide on over to these player one controls, and this will bring up your wheel settings. Okay, now right off the bat here, we're starting out with the shift type. The shift type, I float back and forth. I use my shifter, but a lot of times it's more comfortable to use these paddles, especially when you're racing in tight, good race and league races where you don't want to really be taking your hand off the wheel to shift. You have these nice convenient paddles right here in front of you. Now the clutch here, you can also choose to run it with the clutch. The clutch is actually a pretty cool tool. If you learn to use it really well with the stick, you can actually save fuel while still running great lap times by hitting that clutch and coasting into the turns rather than having your RPMs up real high and then work their way down. Now the difference with that, where it's really touchy, is I like to use those RPMs as as my brake. So if you eliminate those RPMs, your car is going to be real tight rolling into that turn, and you're going to end up using brake. But maybe you could set up your car a little differently to where that's not an issue. Now the force feedback affects strength. Nascar Heat 4, to me, the wheel was less sensitive. I feel like there is a lot more sensitivity in my G29 now on NASCAR Heat 5. I don't know if it's that the cars seem to have more grip or that they eliminated some of the draft effect, but either way, definitely feels a little more sensitive. So I knocked that thing down to just one click above, one click above here. From the minimum. Now I'll gradually work that up, because on Heat 4 I was running it about here, but as of right now, these setups that I've been putting out, this is exactly the way I'm running my wheel while I'm driving those setups. Impact effects, I have those off. You can run with them on. The problem is, if you do tack that wall, it's a lot easier to save the car when you don't have those extra impact effects on, kicking your wheel if you tap the wall or whatnot. I prefer them off. The centering spring, I keep that on. I like the stiffness in my wheel. I like the tension, bringing me back to the center, and I hold a tight grip on the wheel, and as I'm turning in, I can almost feel it, slight little clicks. I can feel where I'm turning. Dead zone, you want that thing all the way down, and on these G29s in the NASCAR games, you still have it's about a 1-inch dead spot in the center of your wheel, where if you have that centering spring on, you could turn the wheel left or right, just as if your car is parked. You're sitting on the street, and you could still wiggle your wheel back and forth that little tiny bit. It's the same thing on this wheel, but yeah, you definitely want to keep that as far down as possible. You don't want any more than what is on there. Alright, now the rest of these settings here. You'll see I have the steering range is one click past the center. So here's default. Default is all straight down the center. I go one click past for the range and one click less for the sensitivity. So the range, it's the distance that your wheel travels. I like my full turn is about 10 o'clock, and then I roll back to the center, and you adjust your center going down the straightaways with your steering offsets and your setup. Yes, I like right around that 10 10 o'clock is where I like my full turn to be. Steering sensitivity, now that goes a lot to do with the way that your wheel wiggles a lot more. You have a lot more sensitivity on heat 5 versus heat 4, and I like to keep it down just one click to kind of steady that wheel up and make my car feel more solid down the straightaways. Now, brake sensitivity and throttle sensitivity, these are two very different things. Majority of tracks run them at the bare minimum. Brake sensitivity, I can get on my brakes and I can pump them, tap them, and I will not get on them real hard and lose speed. I'll be able to still get some brake effect, but not, it regulates it for me. Now if I'm on a road course, I'm gonna run it here in the middle, because you want more brake coming into those turns. But as far as other tracks, I keep that thing down. Throttle sensitivity, that's also, I run mine at the very bare minimum, because when I set up the car, I like to set up with a high RPMs and carry the most speed through the turns. And if you have that throttle sensitivity up here or maxed out, like a lot of people like to put, you'll find later in the run when you step on the gas, it's so instantaneous, it wants to kick the rear end of your car around, so you can actually run the car a little looser with your throttle sensitivity all the way at the bottom. And just to kind of show you what I'm talking about here, when you step on the throttle at it with the bare minimum, this is flooring it. It's got a little bit of a hesitation. The brake is the same way. A little bit of hesitation. Steering, it's 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, I apologize. Now, I'll put that throttle sensitivity all the way up and test that gas pedal for you. It's like boom, and you definitely notice it when you're more so than the testing here. You definitely notice it more in your setup. If you play with these settings and kind of see what I'm talking about and go to a track like Phoenix, like the setup that we just gave away, if you have your throttle sensitivity all the way up, after about 10 laps at Phoenix, you're going to want to spin out. But we're having that sensitivity down lower. It's a more gradual onto the gas pedal for you, so it doesn't want to kick the rear end of the car out. It just kind of smoothly takes off for you. But yeah, this is what we got going on for you here, and this is my Logitech G29. I spent about $600 total, and that was my wheel, the pedals, my stand with the seat, and the seat is adjustable, slides back and forth, and it also comes with the mount for my shifter and the shifter. So you got the entire wheel set up, and the stand itself with the sliding seat, the rig, for $600 on eBay. But alright, until next time, hope this helped out. If you have any questions, any concerns, hit us up in the comment section and I'll be glad to help you out.